certification. This is the last video that we're going to be making in this particular series because we're dealing with clause 10, which is the last of the clauses. So we need to identify opportunities to improve. We need to take action to achieve the intended outcome of the SHEQ management systems. So within clause 10, we would look at incidents, non-conformity, and corrective action. So I thought we'd have a look at an example. So if we had an incident or a non-conformity, let's say there was a vehicle accident or there was non-conforming product, we would make an immediate correction to prevent further loss. So let's say we found non-conforming product, we might turn off that particular production line. We would isolate the non-conforming product because we want to stop that from going out as conforming product. We want to prevent further loss. Turn off the gas, turn off the vehicle, stop the spill from entering the drain. That would be part of our immediate correction. We want to address consequences of the incident or the nonconformity, and that's where we could activate our emergency plan. Once the immediate correction has taken place and we have prevented further loss, we then want to report the incident or nonconformity through whether you're using a documented system or whether you're using a software platform. You want to be able to report it. Then through consultation and participation and investigation, an investigative team made up of possibly top management, non-managerial workers and worker representatives. Once the investigation is complete, we could apply a variety of different techniques to a root cause analysis. So we would look at the direct causes, indirect causes, look at the various different root causes, and then establish an action plan to address those root causes. Remember that for any incident or nonconformity, that's where one of our controls has failed, we want to implement corrective action to prevent recurrence of this particular issue. Once all the corrective action has been taken by the various different parties, we want to then review the effectiveness of the corrective action. We want to make sure that the corrective action will ensure that that particular issue will not recur. After we've then reviewed the effectiveness of that, we might want to close the incident or the nonconformity. Now, for all of this process, it needs to be appropriate to the nature and scale of the incident. As an example, if you have a paper cut, you're not about to close your organization down for the day to investigate that. Remember that your investigative process needs to be appropriate to the scale and magnitude or severity of the particular incident. It needs to be timely. If the incident happened, it's pointless investigating it after a month because then there's a whole lot of risk exposure and uncertainty within that particular time frame. So your investigative process must be appropriate. It must be timely. It should involve consultation and participation of possibly the injured parties, the witnesses, the operators, managerial workers, worker representatives. We also want to, when we're investigating it, we want to have a look at trends. We want to see if these types of accidents and incidents have happened again. What was their nature? What was the significance and the severity? Within this investigative process, we want to identify what were the risks, what were the hazards, what were the environmental aspects and impacts that were associated with this, and what were the particular controls that were in place, i.e., which part of our system failed resulting in this? Did we fail to establish a process? Did we fail to implement a process? Or did we fail to maintain a process which could have resulted in this particular issue? On the back end of the incident and the investigation and all the action that's been taken, we need to communicate the outcomes of the investigation to workers and or interested parties as may be required, and this needs to be retained as documented information. And as part of all of these opportunities to improve, we want to ensure the continual improvement of the SHEQ management system. So remember, there's a difference between continual and continuous. So we're going to implement and establish the system, and then by virtue of management review and SHEQ performance, we then take a step up and then establish those particular additional controls. So that was an overview of clause 10 through incident, nonconformity and corrective action, and also through to continual improvement. How we want to then take those SHEQ performance, auditing, outcome indicators, etc. through the management review. We then want to take all of those requirements and implement an action plan to continually improve the SHEQ management system. We hope that you enjoyed this video and that you enjoyed the series on the road to SHEQ certification.